We honor three very different veterans in this quarter's Operation Veteran Recognition, but all served our country. Dave Berry, Tony Primus, and Rhonda Fuchs. Rhonda grew up in the area, eventually graduating from Minnewaska area in the early 90s. And then
I had no idea what I was going to do, and I couldn't afford college, so I thought I'd go into the Navy.
The idea to join the Navy wasn't entirely out of the blue. Rhonda's family has a history of serving in the military, starting with her father, who joined the Army in the late 60s.
So my father, he was in Vietnam. My grandpa was in World War II. And after I joined, then my brother joined, and he went into the Air Force.
Rhonda went to boot camp in Orlando, Florida. At that time, it was the only place for females to go. Rhonda, holding the sword, says she was the leader, per se, the one who would walk outside of their company and give orders as they marched. If any of the girls would mess up, she says she would pay the price. Eventually...
Yeah, so my orders were the USS Shasta, stationed out of Concord, California.
That led to many adventures in the West Pacific.
It was great. I would have totally done it again. We went to Japan and Guam, Hong Kong, Singapore, but we did go to the Gulf. So I was in Bahrain, Dubai, just off of Saudi Arabia. So the pack lasted 6 months, and then we came home.
Years later, Rhonda eventually made Alexandria her home and is currently the Assistant Veteran Services Officer for Douglas County. It's a role that she feels fits her well.
Right. I feel that because I was a veteran, or because I am a veteran, and my family, I come from a military background of a lot of family members being in the service. I feel that every veteran that comes in here, I treat them like family.
Rhonda spends her days helping veterans with a host of services and options. She also helps honor them as well. Each of the stars you see in cemeteries across the county have come through this office. When asked if there's a day that makes her glad to do what she does for the veterans, she answers,
I think that'd be every day.
David Berry graduated from Evansville High School in 1986. He likewise had some family history when it came to the service. His road to the Navy was similar to Rhonda's in some ways.
I didn't know what I was going to do as far as school. I wasn't the smartest whip in school. So I decided to go in the Navy because of my dad. Dad was in the Navy. And I thought, well, I'll do the same thing.
For David, the Navy was an answer to what he was looking for.
I was a shy guy from Evansville, Minnesota, and I grew up really quick and came out of my shell, and I believe the service did me good.
Stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, David eventually did a couple of cruises to the Mediterranean, and in true David fashion, he was willing to step in where needed.
They asked me one day if I wanted to take the test for the third class boatswain's mate, and I said, well, yeah, I suppose I haven't done any of the courses, but I can probably do it. Took the test, passed, became a boatswain's mate, so then I just basically was more in charge of painting and driving ship.
David took care of the captain's small boat for a while, an honor he cherishes. It was just another example of his willingness to serve, whatever that meant. Back home, David slowly got involved with other veterans.
The Legion wasn't letting certain people in at the time, and my dad couldn't be in because he was falling into that category of not being eligible. So I kind of laid low, and I finally decided, no, I'm eligible. I'm gonna join and keep working with the veterans.
At the post level, David has been everything from a post commander, a chaplain, color guard, honor guard, the person in charge of playing taps at funerals, and then on to his current role with the 7th District as vice commander. During this interview, we were in the Evansville Historical Society's house just off of Grand Street.
This place is amazing. It shows the history of our local military vets, and I thank the Historical Society for setting this up. It's been a great place. It's a growing thing.
While the history of this center grows, David is conscious of the waning numbers involved in the Legion throughout the area, a trend he hopes to change.
If we keep going at the rate we're going, there's going to be a lot of our small town Legion posts that are going to be dying because the numbers are just going down, down, down. I think we were at maybe 5, 6 years, we would be down to three people, which opened my eyes. I said, man, we got to get some of these new guys that are going into the service in to our group. Yeah. Otherwise, our posts are going to die.
Once again, David is answering the call to fill a need. Our last veteran is someone who could have been embittered by his time serving our country. Tony Primus grew up in Melrose. He says he served, quite honestly, because he had to. Tony was injured in Vietnam. An explosion led to a traumatic brain injury, and it has led to other debilitating circumstances, like his speech. But when asked about his time in Vietnam,
I don't think it was a bad experience all along. Even when I was injured, I didn't feel any regret for not going. I still don't.
Tony recalls the positive aspects of his service in Vietnam.
I enjoyed my time over there because it was a different country, and I like the people. But I can understand them, but there was some that talk English, so I could talk to them.
His positive attitude has served him well throughout his life. Back in the States, Tony eventually married and had 5 children, including triplets, one of whom has since passed along with his loving wife. Tony now uses his time to serve other veterans. He's the vice president of the local Vietnam Veterans of America chapter. One thing he really appreciates is the camaraderie.
And they know what I went through.
Although Tony's service to our country lasted 10 months, his service to our area veterans has been strong for decades. And so, once again, we celebrate our 3 new Operation Veteran Recognition recipients: David Berry, Tony Primus, and Rhonda Fuchs. For the Voice of Alexandria, I'm Joe Korkowski.